Listen, man, I am in India and I've been thinking a lot about the people here. The service is spectacular, for starters, right? If you haven't traveled, you are missing out. As a matter of fact, I know you guys have heard me talk about the idea that you don't believe what you believe. And the reason I say that is because Dr. Miguel Ruiz, in his book, The Four Agreements, he really spends a lot of time explaining this concept that we've been given only one perspective. You think you've seen the whole world. You think you've seen all religions. You think you know who you are, but you only know who you are in the context that you've been given. What's interesting about that is that context has been framed. If you ever saw the movie The Truman Show, this is about to get rich and deep real fast. So The Truman Show is Jim Carrey. He's in this film, and you've got to watch it, right? But the story in this film is that this guy lives this really fantastic, great life. Like, everything goes well for him. His life is predictable. He wakes up, his wife is there. Hi, honey. Kisses him. He goes off to this job. He does really exceptional at his job. He doesn't have to take work home. He drives back home. And it's every day the same thing. The neighbor knows him. The trash man comes at a certain time. Life just works. And then one day, he's like, how is this possible that my life is so good? And I don't think that he was looking for something wrong, but he realized he never really had challenges. And so as he began to investigate and discovered that, wow, hold on, not only is my life scripted, there's so many scripts been given out, I'll talk about that a lot, but at the same time, it's being scripted, but like, there's cameras. The life I'm living is not real. Long story short, you don't believe what you believe because you've lived inside of a set script. If you were raised in America, you think mostly Christianity. If you were raised in an unquote Muslim country, then you think Islam is it, right? But there are layers beyond the religion. There's you. The family you grew up in, the neighborhood you grew up in, the government you're under, you think that that's who you are. And I'm here to say it's not. I'm here to say that there's actually so much more to you that you have yet to unpack and discover, that you getting clarity about who you are is the most critical thing you can do in your entire life. There is absolutely zero, nothing, nada more important than that. Because when you discover and unpack who you are, that is when you begin to actually live. That is when you actually begin to make choices based on what you believe is true in that moment that works for you, because that might shift the more you discover and unpack. But I'm not confused. I'm not confused with this idea that it's all about you or it's all about me, because it's not. It's just that you don't get to be really amazing in the we if you're not fully showing up, and nor do I with you. So this concept of clarity and getting to know yourself becomes primary. I don't care what your title is at work. It doesn't mean that's who you are. We know corrupt politicians. We know corrupt business leaders. Hello? So much so that we confuse it with the title. And that's because we think people are their title, but they're not. And that's why you going deep, taking the time to unpack, discover, will allow you to heal, allow you to see your biases, allow you to adjust your biases, because you continue to discover truth that's greater than what you initially were given, or what you initially thought. This is why the work of you is so critical. This whole channel is dedicated to you unpacking it. That's why I dive into the health and wellness stuff. That's because if you're not well and your hormones are not balanced, you're not even close to being you. It's just one of those things that the foundation, they say you are what you eat, is real. So if you're not eating alive, healthy, healing foods, then your hormones are out of balance. They've been hijacked by dis-ease, which means you're not flowing in ease in your body. And now you're susceptible to anything and everything that comes your way. But that impacts how you show up. That makes you a little bit more on edge. That makes you a little less focused in school. I'm going to talk about folic acid at some point, because it helps the brain and how it's not in neighborhoods on purpose. And then we wonder why people act that way. Trust me when I tell you, there's layers to unpacking you, and you're worth every piece and bit of the journey to doing so. Keep following me on this channel. This is the kind of stuff I love to talk about, because I believe there's no one more amazing on this planet than you are for you. And we need you to show up. That's why we roll like this. So listen, subscribe to my free group, the VIP group. The link is below. Come join us. Come hang out. Spend some time. As well as hit that bell. Subscribe. Like this channel. Share this video with people you love. And start taking the journey. When you do, you won't be alone. There are going to be people right there with you. Ciao. Sorry, I forgot to tell you. So in the book, right, where he talks about the idea that you don't believe what you believe, getting back to that focus point around you, let me give you a few things that you can do to start to unpack that. Number one, sit down and just get quiet. The purpose of getting quiet is for you to just breathe. 5 minutes. If you would like, take on the deep breathing exercise where you inhale 4 seconds, hold it 5, exhale 7. All you're doing is getting your mind and body present. And then take 15 minutes just to do an inquiry of you. Write down things that you like, things that inspire you, things that you would do for free without money. Like you feel like you were born for this thing. As you do that, especially with this state of mind, I recommend that it's either quiet or you have like some meditative music in the background. And it's a journey, because however old you are, you've been living that version of you for that length of time. So don't judge it. It's going to take time. It's all a part of the process, but you're worth it. Start to write down those things that you really enjoy. If it's video games, write video games. But there's probably more to you than just that. Try not to write your job unless you absolutely loved the work you do. And the indicator as to whether or not you love the work you do is, would you do it for free? I know. But that's an indicator. As you do that, I want you to think about what brings you joy, right? I mean, joy, like that inner, like, just like, oh my God, when I'm doing this thing, I'm alive. It can be that thing, like, for example, those days where you're so engaged in an activity that you literally forget to eat. And you're like, how did time go by? And you're like, wow, that kind of stuff. Write those things down. The other thing that I want you to do is I want you to write down things that really take you off. And then ask yourself why. So it can be media things. It can be religion things. It can be people lying to you. I don't care what it is. It's informative. Ask yourself why. Why do I feel this way? Why does that bother me? Why? And then when you answer, I want you to ask yourself why at least 5 more times. Why that then? Okay, then why that? Okay, then why that? And then what if that and why that? By doing so, you begin to open your minds. Like, for example, let's take, I hate injustice, right? I hate that people are not given equal opportunities. Well, why? Because that means that they don't have a chance to really shine. Well, why does that matter? Well, because if they don't have a chance to really shine, then they're probably going to go do work that's not meaningful to them. Well, why does that matter? Because if they're not doing work that's meaningful to them, then they don't fulfilled in their life. Well, why does that matter? If they're not fulfilled in their life, then they probably want to take from other people who have what they don't have. You know how the poor hate the rich, that mentality? Because all rich people are not evil. Hello. Well, why does that matter? Because then they may start stealing. Well, why does that matter? Because they may hurt someone in the process of stealing. Well, why does that matter? Because I don't believe they really want to hurt anybody. Oh, do you see how good it can get real fast? So in that discovery, I find things like, well, I want to help people discover how amazing they are, like you. So this is one of those times where you get to start digging deeper on yourself. Once you've done that, then I want you to write down, if you didn't need money, if you had all the time you needed, but you had to have a career, a life career, one that you worked until you died, what would it be? What would you spend your time doing? Write all of it down. That's going to begin to unveil some of these things. Oh. And what are your number 1 regrets? Why? I'm not saying wish upon a star. I'm saying do inventory. You're worth it. Like I said earlier, if you want to do more of this, join my free VIP group. Definitely subscribe, comment below, like, and share this to people you love.